I allow myself to feel that for a day. I allow myself to wallow in that sadness. And then I say, no, there's a reason why this came to me. There's a reason why it's within me. It's almost divine. I owe it to myself to pick myself up and keep pushing, because it's really easy to give up, and I'm not looking for easy.
Mm-hmm. I know we can be our greatest cheerleader and our greatest enemy.
Absolutely.
I do a lot of work with energy shifting and abundance and realizing your goals and manifesting what you want. And so often it's, I talk to clients and I say, what is holding you back? And until we get to the real answer, which is
Yep.
themselves,
Yep.
we're really not ready to go to the next step.
Exactly. Yep. I 100%. And again, like, the obstacles that I go through, they may or may not be even on the spectrum of an obstacle for somebody else. So our reality is our reality. We feel what we feel because of that. And so I don't judge any of the things that come into my world, because I know that I brought them here. I did it. So if I have an obstacle, it's because I brought it into my world. So I accept it, I allow myself to feel it, and I move on.
Correct. And that is a perfectly healthy way to deal with it, because we do need to acknowledge all things. And we are bringing, through law of attraction, so many things to ourselves.
Absolutely.
When I'm looking at the industry right now and some of the trends on Pinterest, how does the cosmetic industry look to you in Canada right now?
It's getting minimal. It's kind of nice. As a makeup artist, it's really nice to see kind of nobody looking for the next big palette or the next crucial must-have product. It's kind of like a time to catch our breath and, take stock of all the products that we do have and use what we have. It's great as a makeup artist. As a cosmetic brand owner, it's a little scary, but I try to be really mindful to put out quality products that don't always jump on the bandwagon of being trendy. I had a conversation with an amazing makeup artist, Kevin James Bennett. He is an Emmy award-winning makeup artist. He works with a ton of brands in development and research. And I spoke with him in Vancouver IMATS. He had gone up and delivered a keynote speech about how he hated contouring. And at that time, I thought I was the only makeup artist on the planet that didn't like contouring. And for that very reason, that you don't see a single contouring product in Dione.
That's true.
Because I want to stay true to myself as an artist. I don't want to just give people products because they'll buy them. I want to put products in my line that I will use on a daily and feel good about using them, and not using it because I'm trying to tell somebody they need this particular product. So I remember having this conversation with him about how, people jump on makeup trends, and that's fine, but it's about making sure that you stay, you maintain your level of integrity as an artist. And so that's always stuck with me. So in terms of what's happening in Canada, I am seeing a lot of like minimalism. The industry itself, I believe last year lost about $17 million as a whole.
Drop in the bucket though, really.
Right, it is. It's a $14 billion a year industry, but as a whole, they've seen a decline in sales, and it's because people are constantly bombarded with the new and improved and better and reformulated and repackaged and all this other stuff. And people psychologically have a fear of missing out. They have that FOMO, and I don't want to put that on somebody. I don't want to psychologically break somebody and say, you either choose this new product that I come out with or you don't pay your rent. So it's a fine balance that I walk as a makeup artist and as a cosmetic line owner.
I completely agree. My blog tomorrow is about the slow fashion and the high cost of fast fashion and the consumption and what is going on with our landfills. And so now I'm saying buy quality pieces, make sure you work together, make sure you have a module for your life, for 3 or 4 modules to fulfill your life, and that they work together. We don't need the amount of clothes we think we need. We don't need the quality that is in a wear once. It's
Yep.
like we're buying disposable clothing now.
Absolutely. I had that exact conversation with my father the other day. The exact same conversation, that there is a difference between, owning all the things and still having nothing, right? So as a brand owner, I want to pay attention to that stuff, because I do have a psychology background, and I don't want somebody to feel like they are lesser than because they can't afford all the newfangled gadgets. I'm also very cognizant of my environmental footprint. So I don't have big lavish packaging when a new product drops. I repurpose all of my bubble wrap. I repurpose as many boxes as I can for shipping and things like that. And people always ask me, are you ever going to come out with like the big packaging that they send to PR people and things like that? And no, I'm not, because again, that's unnecessary. The products speak for themselves. I don't need amazing, beautiful packaging. Don't get me wrong. The packaging that some of these companies can afford is beautiful, but a lot of it just ends up in the garbage. So why do that?
And I actually have boxes I'm saving for you, that my products come in from Amazon or whatever, and I'm saving the packaging for you, like the bundle I brought you last.
And I've used it.
I just love it, because I feel better that we're using something one more time. And I do agree with you on, the slower consumption. I don't want to be a part of supplementing or manifesting the scarcity.
Right.
I don't want people to feel like, well, if I don't have that. No, I want you to enjoy what you do have. I want you to feel grateful that you have this one palette.
Right.
For me, I'm doing a lot of shifting. I've really slowed down on my consumption, because I have all that I need, and I'm so grateful for what I have.
Yeah, absolutely.
The future, do you see the future continuing on this trend of maybe more careful shopping, more mindful?
I always, when I do a consult with somebody, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's in a group setting, because I do parties as well, I often get asked the question, what is it that I need? And me being the amazing salesperson that I am, I say, you don't need any of it. None of this stuff is going to feed you. None of this stuff is going to breathe air into your body. It doesn't cure cancer. It's nothing that's needed.
There's no self-actualization?
Right.
In Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Right. So, and I say to them, I was like, there's plenty of things that you may want, but let's talk about staple pieces that are going to get you through every day. And then you can build on your collection as you see fit. I'm not interested in having somebody spend $400 and $500 on all of the products. I mean, it's nice for me in the short run, but in the long run, I feel bad because I don't know that those products are, one, getting the attention that they deserve, and two, whether the customer truly understands how to use it or how to maximize it. So I always tell people to go very gradually when they're starting in their makeup journey. They pick staple pieces, much like clothing. Pick the core things. I guarantee you have a ton of stuff in your bureau or your side table or in your bathroom that you can repurpose or reuse for other things. So I try to show people none of this stuff is necessary. We will survive without makeup. It may not be as fun, and it may not be as pretty, but we can absolutely survive without cosmetics. It's about finding what works for you, whether that's Dione or not. It's about wearing what makes you feel good. And it's about connecting with a brand that kind of aligns with what you believe in and in your values. So every brand has its own entity, right? Its own life. And my brand is about making people feel comfortable with or without makeup.
Be your own kind of beautiful.
And you know what? Once upon a time, my tagline was be everyday beautiful. But I switched it up to live life beautifully, because I want people to understand that living life beautifully takes on whatever form you want it to. So whether that's having blue hair and wearing glitter on your eyes, or whether that's wearing navy and a beautiful necklace, whatever it is to you.
Exactly. And I fully support that. That's exactly what I'm all about. There's no cookie cutter. In the image industry, we're working with the personality, their coloring, who they are.
Yep.
And we're helping them evolve into their own greatness.
Yep.
When I look at some of the things you're saying about, advice and things like that for makeup, and if you were joining this industry or you were coming into this industry or someone new beginning, the advice you just gave about taking the baby steps. And making sure that you know your foundation. I mean, so often we need, and literally the pun foundation, but I'm funny. But really, if we can ensure that we're taking our time and we really learn our steps or your product, or we enjoy every part of it. We don't want to overwhelm anyone. We want everyone to enjoy the journey.
Right. Absolutely. And that's never my goal. Dione has about 45 different products, which is that's overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. So I always start with, what is it that you want to do on a daily basis? What are you going to maximize both the usage of the product and your money with? And we go from there. So every client says something different, and I work with them around that. But I'm kind of the rainbow sheep of the cosmetic industry, I think, because I don't really have any interest in being, I should tread carefully with what I say, but I look at some of the things that happen in the cosmetic industry, and I've actually kind of taken a step back from watching any of that stuff because it all got so dramatic, and it took away from
toxic.
Yeah, and it took away from my love, and it was tainting my passion. So I had to take a step back. So as of recently, I finally stepped back in to kind of take control of like finding out what the trends and the colors and stuff are for 2020. I'm just getting on track with that to try to come up with some sort of collection for the spring. But I haven't come out with any new products in almost a year because I just don't want to churn out typical. I don't want to churn out, the same shade, different packaging type thing. I want to really work on developing my brand and its kind of foothold in the industry.
Which sounds like a really great way to approach things. As far as the preparation too, of where you've come today, do you think the preparation was your type of mentality, that this is something that, your mindfulness, your footprint, are all these things that helped you to be where you are today because of your mentality and your preparation?
I think they kind of grew with me. Because if I could go back 9 years ago, I certainly didn't have the mindset that I have today. I definitely developed certain skills and certain mindset as I went on, connecting with people who kind of, intrigued me a little bit so I could learn a little bit more. And that is kind of the journey in itself, right? So as Dione grows, so do I, which is pretty fascinating because Dione is an inanimate object. It is nothing, but to me, she's kind of like my personality. She's my personality in brand form. So we've grown together, and I would love to say that I knew 9 years ago that this was going to be my path. I didn't. I had no idea. I just kind of go with what feels good.
Mm-hmm. And I think that you're staying with your integrity and what felt right really helped you along through the journey.
Yep.
I'm looking at some of the things that might hold me back from reaching all of my goals. I'd like Chic Image Consulting to my goal is that my number for things are 10,000. I'd like to have 10,000 services done.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I've served people 10,000 times. I'd like to have a holistic wellness lodge or center. I'd like to see, I'd like to be, and I'm going to achieve this, of course, in the next year, but I want to be the licensed master image consultant, the only one in the Atlantic provinces this side of the Ontario border.
Yep.
Another goal for myself. So these are some of the things that I see, and interviewing people that have already started manifesting their dreams and going along the journey is so wonderful for me, because it helps me realize that anything and everything is possible.
Yep, absolutely. Anything. I mean, I remember my first year of business, I was only in business for, because I started my business in March, I was only in business for, I think, 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And in that 9 months, I had sold some makeup, but it wasn't exponential. And then last year, in one day, I sold more makeup in one day than I did in my entire first year of business. And that to me was like, oh, okay, so I am going in the right direction. And it's important, I think, as a person first and foremost, but as a business owner as well, to be able to, I hate the word pivot because it just seems so businessy, but to be flexible with things, and to, because if I was truly rigid to my initial vision of Dione, it wouldn't be where it is today. And I don't think I'd have the school, because I would be so steadfast to my original vision.
Mm-hmm.
So I allow myself to dream. I allow myself to daydream while I'm putting orders together, and think, oh, wouldn't it be great to have a one-stop shop with a school, a spa, and a production all in one building? Why? That's amazing. That wasn't on my radar 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And I think too that because so many different people and interactions are coming to us and things like that, I think it's so great to be open to see the signs of opportunity. When you're open and you're ready for things, like you said, pivot. It's almost like when we're ready, we can turn quickly when we
Yeah.
see the right
Oh,
sign.
absolutely. I mean, it can take a second to change your life, and that
Yeah,
could be good or bad. It depends on how you look at it. But
second,
um,
right?
yeah, exactly. But I mean, when I decided that I wanted to do the school, I had been thinking about it for 6 years. I had my teaching license since 2013. And I had been sitting on, how was I going to do this? How was I going to do this? How was I going to do this for 6 years? And then literally in the middle of an afternoon in a meeting with a bunch of women, I shot up and said, I have to go. So because it
You
came to
got
me.
my sign.
I did. I got your message, Catherine, loud and clear. So, and in the course of 4 days, I had done all the research, written the proposal, and submitted it to the Cosmetology Association. And now here we are with 10 students getting ready to write the provincial exam. So it really can happen very quickly. And had I not paid attention to how I was feeling that day, it may not have.
I am so grateful for all that has happened. I thank you for all your efforts of growing into the greatness of you, Alisha. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate all the time that you could spend with me this evening and answering some of the questions. Different parts of what you say are going to definitely help different viewers.
I hope so.
The messages that we have, sometimes we don't even realize who needs to hear them.
That absolutely. I believe that 100%.
So I thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being so wonderful. Thank you for the Dione Cosmetics. Thank you for the School of Professional Makeup Artists. And thank you for being your own kind of beautiful.
You're very welcome, Catherine. Thank you.
You're welcome.